Welcome to the 27th episode of the Alter Bridge universe, the series where I'm reviewing every full-length album recorded by a member of Alter Bridge. Without sounding too gloomy,
the end is near,
as we only have a couple days left until the release of Pawns and Kings. But first, today we're looking at the Ides of March by Myles Kennedy, so let's get started. This record marks the breaking of a 9-year-long streak, where at least one member of Alter Bridge produced at least one album every single year, for a total of 14 records. Of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic shutting down the entire globe, they had to take a break from pumping out material and stay at home. But for Myles, this meant hunkering down and writing another game-changing solo album. Just like with his first record, the Ides of March is a significant departure from anything he's produced thus far, including his first solo album, where Year of the Tiger was largely driven by acoustic guitar and light accompaniment. This album is full-on blues rock. It has energetic highs during In Stride, Wake Me When It's Over, and Tell It Like It Is, as well as more introspective ballads like Love Rain Down and Moonshot. The record still features some elements of road trip montage music, like in Wanderlust Begins and Sifting Through the Fire, but the biggest change this record brings is full rock arrangements. The opening track, Get Along, is a perfect example of this. Not only does Myles bring the heat on vocals and guitars, but the full band also goes for it and provides a great opener to this record. This is probably my favorite song from the entire album, but that actually creates some problems. I'll get to those in a moment though, because first, I need to talk about this record's title track. So it seems like Myles and Mark had similar ideas during the pandemic, as they both wrote 7+ minute long epic songs with fantastic guitar solos, which also serve as the title track for their respective albums. However, aside from the surface level stuff like the length, the similarities stop there. The Ides of March is dark and ominous, while at the same time incorporating some odd musical elements you'd never expect to hear in a blues rock album. This song is a prime example of Myles' influence from genres outside of rock, and as a result, his solo work is quite diverse and varied. Despite sharing Myles as a vocalist, I don't think anyone could ever mix up his work with Alter Bridge, as it's just so drastically different. One area in which this record really differs from Alter Bridge is the lyrics. Myles sounds pissed off in multiple songs, and while he often writes angry, frustrated lyrics for Alter Bridge, in this record, it's a little more blatant. That might be because his voice is more exposed and present, or because he uses profanity on this record, but I don't know, I just get the feeling that he simplified and focused the lyrics to make each song's message abundantly clear. He sings about many topics with which nearly everyone can resonate: feeling bored and cooped up at home, prepping for the apocalypse, sorting through disinformation in the media, and yearning to reunite with your friends and go back to normal. It's very obvious this record was written during the pandemic, and it kind of makes you wonder what he may have written about if COVID-19 hadn't happened. I mentioned earlier that it was a problem that Get Along is my favorite song from this record, and what I mean by that is that I feel like it's the most entertaining song. The album starts really good, but then kind of gradually fades in quality by the end, making it where I'm never that excited to listen through it in its entirety. Of course, none of the songs from the second half of this album are bad, I just don't find them as enjoyable as the front half. Myles and his bandmates deliver excellent performances yet again on the Ides of March, but this record lacks the clarity of its predecessor. It feels a little discombobulated, as its musical elements are quite varied, but not as focused as on Year of the Tiger. However, that does not stop it from being an enjoyable record and still worth your time. For a final score, I'm giving the Ides of March by Myles Kennedy an 8.7 out of 10. What's your favorite song from the Ides of March? Let me know down in the comments. Tomorrow's video is the second to last episode of this entire series, with Tremonti's 5th studio record, Marching in Time. Also, there will be some important announcements during that video, so make sure to come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. to find out what's up. In the meantime, if you've missed any earlier reviews and need to get caught up, I put everything into one playlist for you to enjoy right here. Go check it out next, and I'll see you tomorrow.